Hey, what's up, everyone out there? Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Addicted Fishing Podcast. We are here today with Mr. Cameron Black and Eric Swanson. We're going to talk a little bit Astoria salmon fishing, Buoy 10 salmon fishing, and we're also going to bring in a little special guest, one of our new product partners that we're going to be working with. We already use a ton of their gear and have used it for years, and so it was kind of an easy transition when they approached us and wanted to work with us, and it's going to be fun because we're friends with them. And you have to wait, though. We're not bringing them in yet. You have to listen to us talk for a couple minutes first.
Sorry.
How was the podcast last week with
I don't know. How was
ProCure?
I don't know. Oh, I thought it was good with, Jason and Steve are super wealth of information. If you guys haven't checked that out, be sure to go back to where your subscription services are and where you're looking at it. But be sure to tune into that because, whenever we get Jason Hambley and Steve Lynch in studio to talk about, different baits and products, they always drop gems. And we did the live feed right afterwards. And I get tons of comments and messages afterwards, saying, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's so cool. Like those guys have been around the block a little bit.
Absolutely.
So worth a listen.
Definitely.
So, Swanson, are you excited for Buoy 10?
I am. I spent the last 2 days tying up spinner leaders and getting all my rods ready, and just talk to you a little bit.
Cutting it close, dude.
Wait, spinner leaders?
Oh, we don't use spinners down there.
I was gonna say, wait, I thought you were a bait guy down there.
Always. Maybe the first couple years I fished it, but the last couple years it's kind of it's been a transition for me.
Are you a full convert?
I was after last year.
So last year you were a full convert.
Last year I started half and half, and I switched over pretty quickly.
Interesting.
Are you using any super baits?
I mix a few in the mix, definitely.
Because that's what I was doing last year when I was down there. The 4 times I went, I did use some super baits.
And honestly, they work really well down there. But just the simplicity of running blades, it's pretty hard to beat.
Yeah,
no question. Especially you get the feeders, you can get coho, you get grass, warm temperatures that are just like that just kind of melts your bait and burns it up down there.
And
that's why I thought I couldn't remember if you were last year because we
were just talking about that.
Yeah,
out there.
Dick's like a half and half guy. Ryan, Case, Brandon, they're all not glass, but my Brandon, they're all freaking spinner guys, plastic guys, super bait guys too. But okay.
Pop-off's herring.
Always.
He swears by it.
But he gets the job done 99.9% of the time with bait. So I don't blame him for sticking to his program.
Yeah, there's some intricacies there that let's just say he's still using bait, but he's definitely utilizing some of the key advantages of running 360 flashers out the back of your boat.
Right, totally. I know the look. I know the look.
So it's like, he's taking advantage of best of both worlds. The truth be told, the strategy is like absolutely killer.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to run some bait, having a couple 360s out the back telling you what the gear is doing is definitely
those currents
clutch.
Down there. I mean, incoming, outgoing, those slacks. I mean, that saltwater and freshwater mix can definitely be so much different 10, 15 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet below your boat.
Exactly. I mean, not knowing what's down there and like trying to explain this without like showing people or like kind of having a visual of it. It's you put a triangle down on any rod. Like, yeah, you can put it down and you can see some line angle, but that line angle could be coming from like the top 10 feet, top 10 feet of current.
100%.
And, one key advantage, as you get more into the 360s, once you like fully convert, Eric,
Oh yeah.
Once you fully switch over is that, you always fish according to what your gear is telling you.
Absolutely.
Whereas you don't have that with triangles. And it's not good, bad, or indifferent. And it's not that there's not a million fish caught in triangles, but there's times where I know when you put triangles down and they're just laying, they're flat. Your bait's not spinning. You don't know that though.
Exactly. Because the water on the top of the surface is moving a heck of a lot faster than the bottom.
Yeah. So you have a couple of indicators, if you will, out there and tell you what's going on.
I mean, last year when I was down there the few times, I definitely saw a lot of 360s, but I still saw the majority of people fishing triangles.
Yeah, there was a couple different bites last year where the triangles did outfish the 360s. But other than that, I feel like it was pretty even.
Yeah, I think the timing, like I said, there's a couple different bites, but I also think too, you can't, and I think what's going on down there, with the guys that are trying to do like the full switch too, it's like there's times they're going to catch them and times they're not. And not because that the 360 doesn't work, it's how those guys are fishing them, like on burning tides and stuff, thinking that you're going to like hold into the bridge bite and you're going to do stuff like that. You're not. You're not. But turn around and go with the tide and troll it 6 miles an hour. I mean, stuff that we haven't even like you wouldn't even talk about 5 years ago. Trolling with the tide 6 miles an hour over ground and smashing.
Dude, I always thought if I was over like 4.5, that I was going too quick until last year when I was catching them at like 6.7.
Just smoking.
Exactly. And I was hauling like my 2-mile troll. I was doing it in like 25 minutes.
Those are the
like,
best
it was
takedowns
insane.
when you're doing 6 miles.
Savage.
Oh,
Savage. But you're covering ground. You know, you're blowing over fish. You're making them. It's just like no reason why we do downstream trolling. But like I said, I mean, you're not. If you try to fish a 360 and you're kind of new to the program, and you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna hold in on a real bucking incoming tide, you're not gonna do that. You're not. You might get a fish or two, but you're not effective. But turn it around, fish the gear the way it's supposed to be, and just do what the gear is telling you to do, and fish it however you can, like depth wise, with the current, against the current. I mean, half the time on some of those big incoming and outgoing, I'm trolling in reverse.
Right.
Like you're doing whatever you can with your boat to get the right thump out of those things. And if they're thumping right, they're catching fish.
100%. I agree with you. And I saw that last year a ton. So I think last year was a huge learning year for me, learning how to fish them effectively down there and talking to you and some of the other guys that were exclusively running them, weight, time of the tide, part of the river, kind of putting a program together. And I think this year, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier for me early, getting right on top of that same program we left last year.
Well, right. I mean, last year too, we had the late start. And then if I can remember right, like the first day was kind of like okay tide, but then it got really good like around the 16th. Cause I remember like we sat, and we're going to talk about this in live feed, tonight too, like where I pinpointed like, these are the 2 days we are going to absolutely destroy fish. Right. And it was like absolutely spot on. It was like the 16th and like the 23rd, 24th, something like that. And because you didn't have like complete bathtub, you didn't have like a no current outgo, but you had some current. And but like I said, if you go, if you're moving around and you're trying to figure that out, and you're trying to like, I don't know, I guess put yourself like, I think on those days you could have stuck anything in the water and it wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
I mean, anything.
Yeah.
So like when you're trying to figure out and you have that short of a season is what I was trying to get back to, and you just don't have a lot of time to figure out where now this year, we get 5 weeks, 5+ weeks down there, and we get to go through like a few different tide cycles. And, then we're kind of stuck with this like hatchery only thing, and, which isn't really the worst thing in the world, but I mean, we're going to experience kind of like the full breadth of what you're going to be able to do with those things down the estuary. And so you're going to have, if you stick with it, and, I'm not saying it, this year they might not work with a dam. I don't know. Like, it is fishing.
But one thing I know about this year is we're going to have a heck of a thermal barrier down there that we didn't have last year. And so I think that should hold those fish a couple extra tide sets. Because I remember last year you'd get them for like 2 days and then they'd be gone. And then we'd have to, completely figure out where the fish were again.
Well, remember like how many times like we were sitting down, we'd be sitting down like in South Ditch or Seal Ditch or freaking Middle Channel, and then all of a sudden like the tongue point bite would go. Yeah, and it's like if that tongue point bite's going, those are fish that are not hanging out.
Right.
Those fish are bombing up the river.
Totally.
And I mean, and it's like, so when that's happening, those fish are pretty far removed, especially like on the slowdown and stuff, like at the end of an ebb when they start going off up there. So like, I don't know, man. Like I feel like if you're getting that, those fish are trucking out of the system. They're just not washing in and then back down to Chinook and back down to the forts and stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, that thermal barrier, that is definitely, there's been a lot of talk
There's
about
still
that.
400 or 500 Chinook a day going over the dam.
Yeah.
Too.
No,
which is a pretty cool little sign to see.
No, for sure. Like this year's summer Chinook run was great. Makes you wonder how many of those we're going to.
That's what I'm saying. How many are going to be down there?
How many summer Chinook? Dude, I think a lot.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, shoot, last year was springers. I mean,
giants.
The last 2 years, 3 years, 2 years. Let me think. Yeah, last 2 years, there's been like tons of Sandy River Springer coated wire tags showing up in that fishery, especially in the first 2 weeks. Last year we didn't get a fish the first 2 weeks, but this year we do. Like
the first couple weeks too, we're going to kill a ton of those 10 to 14 pound. They're going to be dusky, but they're all going to be good quality fish, hopefully. And then a mixture of those, 25-inch toolies.
Yeah, lots of,
because those are confusing for sure.
Well, we're going to shed some light on that a little bit tonight, but I think you got to watch it, because I think a lot of the, I think this is for a time for another podcast, but we talk like the toolie shaming and stuff like that. If we're playing within the restrictions of the constraining stock of the fishery, where it's not hurting us to kill hatchery toolies, which it's not. It's not going to this year.
Right, exactly.
Especially in the first 10 days. We're going to be in good shape to where we're not going to see stuff shut down early and stuff like that. So then it's just a matter of making really sure that you're trying to kill like one that's not going to cut about as white as a piece of paper.
Exactly. Yeah. Try and kill a good quality fish. And if it happens to be a toolie and somebody posts a picture of it, that's one thing I have a big problem with this Thule shaming is if somebody's happy with a fish and it's a legal fish and they post it, everybody jumps on them. And half the time, people that are calling it a Thule don't even know.
No, I know.
That's
What
what
people
drives me
don't
nuts.
understand, and I see these complaints online every single day, is it's like, it doesn't matter what you post on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
You are going to have guys that get on there
God,
and
it's so
freaking
frustrating.
just wreck. That's just the internet.
Like
Yeah,
I
that
can't
is
count
true.
how many times last year I posted some, good fish pics and somebody was like, "Oh, third one from the left's a Thule, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, really? And I posted a picture of the fillets and it was
Mhm.
not. And people are just, it's so frustrating.
The darkest fish that I have caught at Buoy 10 in the last, I can think, 10 years was a fish, and I know exactly
Cut
which
as
one.
red as that Michael Jordan sign.
It cut as
behind you.
red as a sockeye, and because it was a big ass hatchery freaking springer. Now I will say, like, there is, after the hatchery Thule 10-day bash, afterwards we are going to want to definitely be a little more conservative, bonking big brown
Right.
Chinook with adipose fins.
Right.
Like that is a constraining stock still within the fishery. That's why they're limiting those first 10 days. So we are going to want to watch that. Like I think it is going to be definitely like, if you're out there August 16th and it's pound town,
Mhm.
and you 5 minutes into the troll, you smoke a 20-pound wild, kind of darker looking one. I think
Pink belly.
as anglers, we're going to want to be like, I still got all day. Like this is the one I'm going to let go.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
I get
sometimes,
it.
and that's the problem. Sometimes those wild Thules, they're big.
They are
They're mean.
massive.
They're huge.
big, gnarly. Yeah, and they fight like crazy. And
Who cares? They're fun to catch, and then just let them go.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Like, I think after the hatchery, basically once we get to the wide open season, we are still, but you don't run into those. You don't really run into that many of them.
Right.
And so like, especially that's why they constrain those first 10 days because most of those true
Mhm.
lower river wild Thules are moving through those first 2 weeks. And so
Gotcha,
that's
okay.
why and that's why last year we weren't allowed because that constraining stock was so tight.
Gotcha.
That's why we didn't fish till the 13th. Like they're like, nope, we can't even have hatchery fishing in there. Fortunately, they think the run's we're in a considerably better place than we were last year with the constraining stock and with upriver brights. So
Good deal.
that's what it is. But we'll be talking more about that and get ready for the interweb posts
Oh, my
because you'll
gosh.
see them.
You're going to see them everywhere.
Dude, I think the great Thule debate is probably one of the finer ones that we see on the internet because
Oh, for sure.
This'll be great.
everybody has a story on a Thule.
Everyone has an opinion. Too.
Yes.
This will be great too because Eric doesn't know this, but in the live feed, I gave Clint about a dozen pictures and we'll be going over them with a fine tooth comb
Oh,
tonight,
good.
buddy.
Yes.
Are some of them
Eric's-
Swansons?
Yeah, no.
Good.
No, I wouldn't care.
Don't be calling Swanson out.
Dude. I've
Let
been
me
known
see-
to kill a Thule.
Let me see.
The only time I kill Thules after I educate my clients on them is, if they are adamant about keeping it.
well,
Because I can't tell anybody, if somebody came
No.
down here from Seattle and they spend a bunch of money getting down there, then the trip and they want to kill the fish, I mean, it ruins folks' trips making them release
see,
fish.
I really draw the line. I really draw the line on the wild ones. Like, I
Yeah.
will, like, if they want to block a hatchery too, like, and if they go, oh, it'll smoke, it's like, you know what? Okay, bud, you know what? I don't want to be out here as much as you do. So
Right.
let's bonk this sucker. But if it's a wild one, I'll be pretty adamant. Like,
Yeah.
look, this is the fish that gets us in trouble and shuts
Right.
us down later. Like,
Yeah.
let's just, you know what? And fishing's, I'm not going to say I've never done it, but if fishing's tough or if fishing's good, whatever, like, we can kind of,
right. If
you
you're
can
getting
coax them into that, like, look, man, this is just like a wild.
Yeah.
It's a big wild steelhead. Think of it that way.
Yeah.
Don't bonk it.
you really don't want this meat. Yeah, I mean, if you're getting a fish or two or a couple bites of pass and you don't need to kill it, and
No.
dude, yes,
That's what you have to
let
do
'em
is just say
go.
you really don't want this meat.
right.
It's not even going to be worth keeping.
Yeah.
This will literally taste like.
Yeah,
Good fight. Thank you. Get the handshake.
Yes.
Get a picture with a
This
frowny
is-
face and let it go.
All right, let's get our guest in here before we run out of time, Clint. Call him in. Is he here? Is he
You
on?
can come right into the fire.
yeah. Bring it on.
Oh, we hear it ringing.
You think our producer could
Hello.
shut that out?
Hello, we got our special guest here.
How's it going?
I wonder if anyone recognizes your voice before we even tell people.
Can you hear
who
me
it
all
is.
right?
Can he hear us, Clint?
I can hear you good, bro.
Oh, good.
We
Yeah,
can hear clear as day.
we hear you loud and clear. We got our snazzy little headphones on. We all look like true podcasters in
Oh,
here
yeah.
right now.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
right here,
bro. I got on my Bose Quiet headphones I wear on the plane, so I can't hear the motor. So yeah, they're solid for this stuff.
Nice. Well, man, we kind of did a little pre-intro before you jumped on here, but we didn't tell anyone who you were or anything. We just kind of said we have a new product partner that we're working with, someone that we have actually been friends with for a long time and fishing the gear for a long time as it is. So you want to introduce yourself?
Well, I am Jared Higginbotham with the Yakima Bait Company, and I'm fortunate just like y'all. I've loved fishing and, outdoors since I was a little kid, and has led me to a place that I can't even explain to most people. So I'm a very fortunate individual. And, I'm just a fish freak, like addicted, as you say, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Well, we appreciate you jumping on the podcast again. I thought this would just be a good opportunity to kind of introduce the new partnership. We've used your stuff forever. We got rooster tail videos all over our YouTube channel. We got all sorts of spin and glow. We've used mag lips for years. So Yakima bait's kind of a staple in the Northwest and something that we've addicts has used for years anyway. So it was kind of like an easy, hey, yeah, let's start a little bit more of a business relationship with each other. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, me too, bro. I mean, it's an easy fit. I mean, like you say, for me, the Yakima bait thing, I fished all that stuff since I was a little kid. It's in my backyard. Just like you said, spinning glows and flatfish and, all these things were just part of all of our really everyday fishing. So when I went to work for Yakima, it was like I'd already done my homework, my whole life. And it's really part of the Northwest and fishing. And I can wear a Yakima bait shirt, travel across the country, and I'll get a few people say, "Oh, Yakima bait." I wear a rooster tail shirt. And every single person stops me and is like, "Hey, dude, my uncle taught me, my grandpa taught me, my dad showed me this. Oh, I caught my first fish on," right? And so, which is really cool, man. I mean, that's a pretty neat part of the company, as far as everywhere you go, being associated with a rooster tail, you're part of so many people's first fish and great memories. And so that's a really cool part about my job. So.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And so you guys are local, and you're manufacturing parts here in the U.S. and then also importing stuff, correct?
So we don't really import. I mean, we import. We have a factory in Ensenada. So we have a factory in Granger, Washington, and I live in Zillow. So I'm 4 miles from the factory. So again, it works out really well for me. But and we have a secondary factory in Ensenada, and I believe the Pose. David Fritz won the Bassmaster Classic in 1992 on the Pose lure, right, and a crankbait. And so in 1993, Yakima Bait bought the Pose company, and the company factory was down in Ensenada. So, over time, we've just learned to manufacture some of those things there as well, and kept both factories, going. So, it's good.
Kept
Dual
the US
manufacturing.
That's a really good way to do it.
Yeah, so made in North America, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you shed some light on exactly? I don't know if you can give us an exact amount, but I mean, what's the sheer amount of rooster tails that are out there? Like, I mean, how many countries do rooster tails ship to, like, in the world?
Man, you know what? Honestly, I could not even tell you, but it is everywhere, dude. I get, just like you guys, right? I get messages from people from Sweden, from Australia, from Russia, from places I have no idea where they're at. And it's all Google translated messages, right? And you're trying to decipher what they want. And, I mean, it's really everywhere. I always said it would be a cool thing because we still use the original machines that were designed in the 40s to make rooster tails. They're still the same, right? Like, it's the same. If we need parts, we got to make them at the factory because they're so unique to the way we do things. And so I always said it'd be cool to have a counter on every one of those machines to see how many hundreds of millions of rooster tails we've shipped out, right? Just rooster tails. So
that's crazy.
I always thought that would be an interesting statistic, right? To see what is that number? Like, McDonald's always had that sign. I remember, like in the 90s, it said over 1 billion served, right? Over 30 billion served.
Yeah. That would be a really cool number to have. The other thing that's super cool about rooster tail that I love is, like, you can catch a lot of different species on rooster tails. Like, you make them super small all the way up to, like, I didn't even realize until we went to Alaska that you make those big giant, like, musky rooster tails.
Yeah. So we make them from a 32nd ounce, which is a propeller style blade. And then once we get into the 24th ounce up to the 1 ounce, it's all your standard, kind of a willow style blade. And then, we partnered with another big box store, and they wanted us to make a giant rooster tail for muskie, right? And so that's where the husky tail came into play. And we make that, and the actual weight on the size 5 is a 0.8 of an ounce, and the weight on a size 6 is actually 1.8 ounces, I believe. So, big baits, big fish, right?
Yeah. I got a couple of them in my box now, and I'm excited to go try to get a muskie on them for sure.
Yeah, Papa was like, "Hey, do you have anything for pike or muskie?" I'm like, "I got some really cool stuff."
Yeah.
And some of that stuff I sent you was like discontinued from like the vault type stuff, just some neat stuff to check out, right? Like old wooden lures and just the paint jobs and all that stuff.
Popoff kept all that shit for himself, so
yeah, I don't remember seeing any of that. What a jerk!
Are you serious, bro?
Yeah.
I literally sent him like probably 40 topwater baits, and a few spinners. But
We
I think
never
like
saw
40
any of that,
We're gonna
bro.
have to
We
chat
never
about this
saw.
later.
Oh, I'm gonna have to corner the Russian and have a chat with him.
For those that don't know what we're talking about, let's just say Nick was trying to get a little insider gear for the movie we just filmed up north. So
Predicted Alaska 3.
That's pretty funny though.
Yeah, that's really
sneaky
cool.
little devil.
So we were talking about Astoria here tonight in the podcast. Are you getting excited to head down there and go fishing?
Bro, you should see my kitchen table. I'm just like y'all. I cannot take it, dude. That was where my parents used to take me. I've been going there since I was 6 years old. A friend of ours has had a cabin there. It was in their family for years, and they started taking my parents. You know how it is when friends, you get to playing soccer and basketball and all this stuff, right? And your parents make friends with friends that have cool things you go do. Well, this was our cool thing, and so we went over there for every year for 2 or 3 weeks, and that's all I did, man, was Bowie 10. So that's been in my blood since I was like 6 years old. And we would take a 15.5-foot rally boat with a 100-horse Johnson, no trolling motor, dude, and go out there and nose up to the buoy with the other, however many people. And my mom puking over the side, driving the boat, dad rigging rods, and me and my brother railing fish on the crappiest gear you have ever seen in your life, dude. And I love it. I can't wait every year, dude. My table is full of stuff. I've been tying stuff, picturing how the rods are going to go down, I'm going to run, where I'm going to run it, when I'm going to run it, how deep I'm going to run it, who's going to do what. So, yeah.
Same, dude. I'm sure we're all doing exactly the
My
same.
kitchen table is gnarly.
I know all you guys had the exact same visual I did right through that whole thing. Just like, yeah, see that? Yep.
Exactly. If you could see Cam was sitting here just nodding his head
I
the
was just
whole
like,
time.
I was just thinking like how it was, back in the day where it was just all confined to that just Bowie 10 area. Now it's, it's as our buddy Cody likes to call it, the 40 square miles now. I mean, it's just in what that fishery is. From the days you were talking about to what it is now, and just it's just kind of mind blowing, and especially now with what we're doing, with everything from 360 flashers to hard bait. I mean, you got guys, before we got on the podcast with you, we were talking about just not even fishing bait and stuff down there, and going down there with lures and just spinners and just do whatever, and it's just and like I said, it's just a whole nother ball game now.
I did not fish anything but a blue label herring at Bowie 10 until I was probably 30.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was it, bro. And it was always cut plugged, and it was always an old cooler that we'd have. We'd clean it out. We'd go to the ocean. We'd fill it full of water. The next morning, we'd make our own ice with fresh water because we were so worried that we were going to get some chlorinated city water type stuff in our ice. And we make our own ice that night, right? And the next morning, we dump that ice in the cooler with some rock salt and cut plug all our baits, and away we would go, dude. And it was nothing but a deep six diver, a 6-foot leader, dual hook setup, fixed rig, and blue label herring. That's it. That's all I ever fished.
And send it.
And that was it. And Dad would always say, no more than 20 pulls. That was his rule. No more than 20 pulls, right? So
you being the kid, you went fun. 40, right?
Yeah.
Dude, every time, bro.
Every time Cam tells me 28, 30 on the bow,
that's
I
like
put it at
clients.
like 24.
That's what counters are for now.
23.
Well, Cam, you have 2 boys, right? And so I'm sure you watch those kids, and one of them is way fishier than the other one, right? Like he sees it different. Like he's the one that's going to test the waters, figure out his own method. And I have a brother, and I was that kid, right? I've always been the kid that was going to change the game, right? I couldn't take it, so.
Yeah, that's why he donates 1 million bottom fishing jigs to the bottom, because he's always going deeper than all my clients. Like, Lane, stop doing that. It's like it's either a rock or a ling every time.
Yeah, that's what my son is, man. My son, he's smart, dude. He watches that depth finder, and when a certain spots, in the river, I've seen you out there. When you back off, there's these big edges, dude, these big drops, and he knows those lings sit there. And so he'll be the bow of the boat when we're up there fishing, up next to the rocks. And then as soon as I start to back the boat up and drop to that edge, he'll hop off, run all the way to the back of that boat, and he'll start dropping, and he'll watch that finder. And he knows almost every time we go off a ledge, that little sucker will stick a ling every time.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, they're on it. They're going to be trouble going up.
He knows. And I can't yell at him, right? Stay in the bow of the boat, because
exactly.
He knows. It's not like, one of your random buddies out there that doesn't know. And you're like, no, you're good up there, man. He knows. And I will let anybody else fish around, because I usually have all 3 motors running, right? And because I want to be able to move the boat, or if something happens or whatever. And so he knows how to fish around them too. So
that's killer, man. Well, Jared, I appreciate you coming on to this quick little podcast, dude. We're excited for the partnership and working with Yakima into the future, and we got lots of cool, exciting content things planned. But we got to go do a live feed now.
Oh
yeah, bro, it'll be fun, man. I'm excited. Cam and I have worked together for a long time. He was my Remington rep, like in I don't remember what year that was, bro. But you were still skinny, and it was a long time ago. Yeah, it was a while ago.
Right.
But yeah, that's when I first met Cam. So that was early 2000s, and so I think right in there 2006, 7, 8, somewhere in there. But so yeah, man, it's cool to see what our passions grow, and kind of here we end up together, and now we end up working together. 15 years down the road. So. Cool, man. I'm excited. I'm pumped up. You guys are doing a lot of really cool stuff, educating people. That's one of my favorite parts of my job is education. So that's one of the reasons Yakima Bait want to jump on board.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate it, Jared, and we'll talk to you in just a couple minutes.
You got it, brother.
All right, everyone. So there you have it.
And it's so funny. We didn't even get into spinning gloves.
We didn't even talk about
how many thousands? I mean, hundreds of thousands, or hundreds of millions of salmon and steelhead and sockeye and whatever
And
have been
walleye
killed on
and kokanee
freaking
and everything,
spinning
dude,
gloves.
freaking-
We didn't even talk spinning gloves.
We'll get
time.
there.
We'll
get
get
there. We'll definitely get there. Well, everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Eric, you got any open seats coming up? That who knows when this podcast is coming out, but you can talk about your fall or whatever.
Yeah, so I have a few open days in September. So if you guys want to get a hold of me, the best way is go to my website, ericswansonoutdoors.com.
And here's a secret. Chinook fishing's easier and better in September.
Yeah.
I just said, oh my gosh.
It's
Way
way
less
more
weird.
fun.
Way less
Nobody
stress.
needs to worry about it.
No one needs to worry
But you might want to go fishing with Eric in September. It's pretty good.
Hit me up.
All right, everyone. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Don't forget, leave us a review, leave us a comment, all those great things on all the different platforms, and we will see you on the river.
Thank you, guys.
Later.